All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action with a very special movie review just for you. That's right. Today we're going to be doing a cross review of the 47 Ronin versus the 47 Ronin. We're taking them from two very distinct times, pretty much 20 years apart. We're going to start with the latest one that came out recently. That, of course, is 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves. This one bugs me. Really bugs me. I understand that it's a movie, and I understand that you're taking history and you want to make it your own little story and add in elements that you wish would have happened when these events actually happened. That's one thing. But it's another thing to take history and turn it into a pure 100% fantasy. You got people who can shapeshift, you got people who can use like these magic, you got these strange hallucinations going on, you got a guy with tattoos who's only in it for maybe a minute if we're lucky. I don't know why they have him on the poster. I was really looking forward to seeing his part in this because I thought they'd all be like assassins and all that, but it turns out he's just he was a nobody. He just showed up and then he left, so that was pretty much it for him. The 47 Ronin is based off of true events, from what I understand. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a historian. And regardless, to take the story and twist it this much goes too far. If you're going to make a movie like this, take out the 47 Ronin. Call it something else. It doesn't have to be 47 Ronin. Give it another title, because literally this has very little to do with the actual events, if nothing to do with the actual events. Purely Hollywoodized. They took history and they decided, hey, it's from Japan, so let's add some Japanese fantasy, magma, anime, live action stuff. Now we have our chance to make a great movie. It didn't fly. Now, I did try to take a moment to decide what my feelings were towards this movie if there was no story of the 47 Ronin. Like, there's no history, okay? The movie by itself. Well, the movie by itself is okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. I've seen worse recently. I actually enjoyed it. I found it watchable. If they just didn't tie it into the history, this could have been something. But because they decided to tie in the history and try to stay, I can't really say true to what happened because this is a complete fabrication, not even close to the reality, save one thing. There was one thing that they did get right that I'll get to in a second. But that was different, The movie itself, okay. The fact that they based it off of the 47 Ronin really made it difficult. Now, this, of course, is the 1994 47 Ronin. This is about the guys who actually went through it, Just so you know, for those of you who do not know, and I'm no historian, by the way, so I don't want to say too much about the history. All I know is that at one point, a samurai lord was had a higher official come visit, teaching him how to get ready for something. And the guy was very rude, and the samurai lord lost his temper. Sorry. And when he lost his temper, he just wounded the guy. Just gave him a knock on the head, a little blood. And that was enough, though. Don't dishonor your higher-ups like that. The shogun ordered him to commit seppuku. And if I'm butchering this history, I apologize. These Ronin, and remember, at this point, there's like 300 Ronin now, okay? They're samurai, they're all samurai, but they're about to become Ronin because of what their lord did. And they're allowed to just become Ronin and, go and live the rest of their lives and all that. The lead samurai was not happy at all with what that lord did. The best part about this was even they weren't sure what happened. There were no witnesses. The one guy was dead. The other guy wasn't going to talk. And the other guy knew, and I think his name was Kira. Kira knew that they were coming for revenge. That, you don't ask a lord to commit suicide and not have somebody come get revenge. So he prepared this, military compound to be his house so that he could be safe from these guys that he knew were coming one day. It would take a year before they would get their revenge. And during that time, they made their vows, but, the vow was made a year ago, and they lose interest, and other things were happening, family, work, all this stuff. And it got down to that night when they were about to do their raid, and there was 48 men left. Wait, 48? but it's 47 Ronin. Well, you have to watch the movie to understand why it's 47. Despite the fact that the night before the raid, there were 48 of them. So, something to look into. This one ended abruptly, in my opinion. One of the biggest problems I had with this movie was that it ended too fast. Once they got their revenge, that's it. It was a game where they didn't show us any aftermath or anything. To tell you one of the things that happened, this is a minor spoiler, and this happened more in the Keanu Reeves version of 47 Ronin. One of the things that happened was the Shogun told one of the lords that his son would be spared. His son came in as one of the 47 Ronin. I think that happened in real life also, but here the guy was spared. And that happened in real life, from what I understand. The guy actually, because for whatever reason, here they gave their own reason, but in real life there was a different reason. It wasn't even covered in this one. Like I said, once they got their revenge, it was the end of the movie. It ended with satisfaction, however, it ended too abruptly. Like you wanted to see a little bit more of the aftermath. The 47 Ronin is based off a true story. You know, it's been told since 1701. Well, that's when it happened. And it's just been huge. This, like I said, if it was a movie by itself, it's passable. But because it's basing so much on a historical event, that really just irks me. You know, this was more faithful to what actually happened. Of course it is. It's made by Japanese people, and it's made by a director who really wanted to show the history and not just the fantasy of it. You know, not try to fantasize. It'd be like trying to watch the American Revolution, where, you know, walking trees were the ones who finally gave us our independence. It just doesn't work. But that's the way it works. When it comes to 47 Ronin, I don't really recommend the Keanu Reeves one. You know, you got people who can shift into animals, you got magic, you got pretty much a guy ignoring them as if nothing was happening. You know, he's too wrapped up in his own world and marrying his bride. Than this movie, where it's actually about these guys not just trying to get not trying to find a way to get their revenge, but also trying to keep it together when everybody else was falling apart. They knew that if they did this, their lives were forfeit. Okay, that was a very interesting part too. Very well done movie, 47 Ronin, 1994. If you haven't seen it yet, it is recommended. All right, guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you at the theaters.